Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've just got some interesting information come through from the content creator chat. I've got to say, whenever I see champion buffs, it's like, who's on the list? I really want to know what's coming. I've got to say, it's a bit lackluster in terms of the number. They only seem to do champion buffs like, what, once or twice a year? Maybe this is the start of a new raid, a new player in, and they're going to do buffs monthly. If that's the case, great. We've got a few champions in the mix here. But if this is like their 6-month champion buff list, then damn, I suggest you play the game a bit more, fellas, because this doesn't seem to be the priority to me. But I will let you guys decide. Comment below as I go through them. Are they the champions that you would have buffed or would have liked to have seen buffed? The changes as well are just a bit weird. And the changes are making me think there must be some other content around the corner that this is more relevant to. But I guess, again, let me know below if I'm not thinking straight. So the first one is Rotus. Rotus the Lost Groom. Rotus the Nerfed. Rotus, will never get to use him again because he's now so bad. Oh, but hold on a minute. He's still way in the meta, guys. Rotus is still a beast. When they last changed him, they actually nerfed him hard. They nerfed his A3 so that the block revive basically never block revives. And it's a real shame because they actually ruined a big part of his mechanic, a big part of his kit. And in my opinion, the last nerf of him was not done in the right way. But he still found his way back into the meta in like plat level arena and a bunch of Doom Tower content. So he's still used a lot. So what's he got going on already? Decreased defense A1. He could get another turn out of this. He's got this Vitality Plunder where he steals enemies' max HP and basically can increase his health pool by 60k. So he becomes an absolute beast once he gets that 60k up. And then he's got this A3, ignores 60% enemy defense and ignores unkillable and block damage buffs. It's a really cool A3. And then if you topped up your health from Vitality Plunder, he can actually get the block revive away. That never really happens, like, ever. Even if you're at, like, super high level Doom Tower, basically, it never exists. It's almost like you might as well remove the block revive from him completely. But he does get an extra turn when he kills someone. So he's still got enough damage to plow through someone with his A3, pop someone with his A2, or if you're, like, up against it, you can still get, like, a bunch of turns floating off of his A1, A3, so you can rotate through them pretty quick. He's also really good against Warlord because his abilities are on such a low cooldown and he's got a chance to get extra turns. So if he gets locked out by a Warlord, he can basically get himself back into the game. So what are they changing on this guy? They're actually amending his Vitality Plunder, which is a bit weird. I guess, I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with this, but at the moment, well, I'll tell you what it changes to. Where it says here, does not decrease boss max HP, it's now changing to decreases the max HP of bosses by 30% of the damage inflicted. So it feels like this is straight up a Scarab boss thing. I can't really think of another boss where, maybe some of the faction war bosses, when you get towards the later game, second or third faction war boss decreasing their max HP can be useful. I can't really think of anywhere else in the game that becomes a really great skill. I guess, again, maybe... no, I can't think of another boss where I'd be like, I really want to decrease max HP. So maybe they're looking at it and they're thinking he's not really being played that much outside of the arena. We'd like to give him another place. And decreasing the boss's max HP against Scarab could be very cool. Imagine him in a Blood Shield set. Can probably go ahead and solo Scarab, I would imagine. So it's an interesting change. It's definitely not what I would have done. And Rotus is not anywhere near top of my list for someone that needs a buff, honestly. But that's the first one. The second one is a champion that I feel needed a buff. So at least we're on the right path. Var-Gall. Skull Var-Gall. A lot of people will have this guy if you've been playing for a while because he was a fusion. And he was actually quite an easy fusion to get. It was a very... it was different. We actually had a fusion which was different to the normal. You had to go and just farm a load of campaign Skull Swans. You had to farm 16 of these bad boys up they became 4 Drakes, and then 4 Drakes became Skull-Lord Var-Gall. So it was just a straight up go and farm. And if you're lucky, you got him pretty quick. And if you're unlucky, you spent days farming campaign and eventually got him. But yeah, Skull-Lord Var-Gall, at the moment, he's not really that great outside of Faction Wars. For Faction Wars, he's actually pretty good. Especially paired with the Skull Swarm, because he can just keep popping him back up with his passive. So the boss here in Lizardman is the one that just hits you like an absolute truck, ignoring all your defense. So if you just got someone that you can constantly keep reviving, like a Skull Swarm here, he becomes the target. Everyone else is doing the damage, and you'll get your 3 stars. So it's actually not bad for Faction Wars already. Outside of Faction Wars, he's not really played. So his change, he's got 2 changes actually. He's already got, well, let me just go through his kit quick. Double hitter here with heal reduction on it. He's got a strengthen for the team on a 3. This goes to a 2-turn cooldown, and a chance of placing provoke on a target enemy for 1 turn. It's just so weak. Such a weak A2. And then the A3 is an AoE, which is actually not a bad ability here. Books to 100% decrease attack on a 4-turn cooldown. So the first change is they're making this reduced 1 cooldown. So it'll actually be on a 3-turn cooldown. I guess they must be thinking here Hydra. You know, AoE drop attack against that Head of Wrath is almost essential. So maybe they're thinking, you know, strengthen buff alongside decrease attack. You know, all of a sudden, maybe you've got yourself something going on here. Maybe. The AoE drop attack is important, but I don't know. I don't know if it's still enough to make me want to bring him into Hydra. But they must be thinking about Hydra because people aren't really playing it. People aren't really playing that game mode that much. But I don't think it's a champion issue. I think it's a Hydra issue, personally. Anyway, going on to a different topic. The second thing they're changing is on his passive here. So at the moment, when attacked, he's super annoying, by the way, if you fight him in Faction Wars or Doom Tower, because when attacked, he decreases your max HP by 5%. Straight up. Nothing else goes on. You lose 5% of your health pool. Up to a maximum of 50%, but it doesn't work against bosses. So his change, again, it's a max HP against boss thing. So it decreases the max HP of bosses by 2.5% instead. So if he gets attacked 20 times, then you would have removed half of the boss's health. Again, I'm guessing it's a Scarab boss thing. I can't think where else this enemy max HP is really, you know, thought after as a good skill. Let me know below. Am I missing something bizarre around enemy max HP? It's that, or they're going to be introducing something new around enemy max HP, and it will make these guys relevant, I guess. But it feels like the same thing again. They're focused on the enemy max HP. Maybe they're like, why aren't people using these enemy max HP skills? And another dude's like, yeah, well, it's because you're not letting them do it on bosses. And they're like, yeah, that's it. Because, yeah, which boss do we want to do it on? Like, literally, outside of Scarab boss, I can't think of a single one I would want that skill for, personally. Anyway. The last champion then in the mix. This one does need a buff as well. So 2 out of the 3, I'd say, yeah, fair enough. Because this is actually a good champion, but he's so freaking slow. 90 speed. You can't get anything away with that. And they're actually changing that speed up to 98. It's a massive change for this guy. He's already had a buff. Didn't get any playtime still. Senti is going to be very happy because he's got a +4 Bloodgorged floating around. But what's this guy got? A decreased defense A1. His A2 is a lockout ability, so it's an AoE and it hits pretty hard. Puts 1 of each of the target skills on cooldown. So basically, what that means is, like, if you've got an A2 and an A3 there, it's going to lock out 1 of those skills. It's random. That's the shame about it, is if you think about a Basher or a Warlord, it's like you've got no skills left. But this is still pretty big, and he needs speed to do that. He needs to be able to go fast to lock people out. Otherwise, they've already done their damage. He's already dead before he's even got a chance to put this away. So this is actually much better on him. And he's got an absolute nuke on his A3, which is a block revive still, and this actually works. So I think this is quite a big change for him. Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what I would have done, though. If this is me doing this change, because I think he does need a buff, he needs some sort of fancy passive. Every champion you buff player him that doesn't have a cool passive, give him one. That's what I would suggest. Like, it just makes for a champion to be so much more interesting. Yeah, this is a vampire dude, right? Give him some sort of come back to life mechanic or something. Like, he needs another way to stay in the fight. Even if it was like, does this A2 steal and then puts himself in a perfect veil, at least he'd be hidden to get his A3 away. As it is, you choose between the A2 and the A3. If you do the A3, you sit someone down and they're going to stay dead. He ignores all defense. He doesn't even need Savage Gear or Helm Smash or anything. He just does it. They're dead. But you're kind of choosing between, am I trying to lock people out or kill one? If I lock everyone out, they're still coming at me with their other abilities. If I kill one, there's still 3 coming at me. Like, it's just kind of like, I'm not sure it's enough. But there you go, guys. 3 buffs. We got 600 champions in the game now. The big buff rounds come in, and we've got 3. Whoever is in that team doesn't work very hard. Anyway, guys, I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.